I am Immah Reid. I am a poet. I'm a Kenyan sometimes. Sometimes I hold no citizenry to imperialist borders. Sometimes I'm a radical feminist. Sometimes I'm a lesbian. And sometimes I'm a mother to a beautiful boy. And sometimes I'm just a problematic person in Nairobi, just making sure everybody's uncomfortable and asking, is it a boy or a girl? Keep asking, I see your face. Keep asking. My approach to social change has been deeply towards consciousness. I believe how we see ourselves, especially as black, dark-skinned, beautiful people. You should see the melanin on this side. You guys are burning me, eh? Yeah, I think how we see ourselves as women, as human beings, and dictates how we treat other people. And all our fuckery as people, as our country, the discrimination based on every front that you can look at is based on us not having value to ourselves or what was done to us to get to that. Not all our fault, yeah? We carry an intergenerational trauma that has not been addressed and now is being masked under celebrate your womanhood. We don't know how many of our grandmothers died for the Mau Mau. Our women are not named. We don't know how many of us still are where we are at and not here because all our systems are dictated by whiteness and capitalism. And now we firmly believe on all our social media, the better I look, the more I have, the better it is. God damn it. We are fucked, people. It's such a mess. I saw so many people when we were registering, they have written UN. Yeah. I remember being in UN. So I went to USIU first, yeah? My mother, I'm a single child to a single mom. She was from the village. I grew up in the village fully, yeah? I talk this way because of TV. I didn't have friends. I talked to TV. That's why I talked like this. But I go to Nairobi Uni, somewhere in the middle of it, mom can't pay anymore. No, USIU, can't pay anymore. I drop off. I go to Nairobi Uni. I start doing psychology. We shared a sociology class. I know that. Yeah. And in the middle of it, once more, can't pay. And then I look around. My cousins have dropped off also for the same reasons, yeah? I come from a very humble background, humbly appreciated, actually. And they do harambes for my cousins' boys especially, yeah? And I'm thinking, I'm brighter than all of you, motherfuckers, eh? Have you heard me talk? Why aren't we investing here? Then there's something one just says about who will marry her. The value of femininity being based on what it brings back to the family. As soon as this society notices you are, as peculiar, queer, beautiful things, the investments to our education also looks something similar to that, yeah? So I realized there's a slackness, like there's a conversation that no one is having with me because I am fire and they know what not to say, but I know what's going on. And at this moment, I decide I will tell everybody but them. So I start doing poetry all over Nairobi, performing with only men who have weird ways of unpacking what I am. So most of them will address me as dude, bro, or the boys. I'm like, I ain't you. Can you imagine being born with this beauty and people man you? It's okay though. I was fine with it. But I realized the bigger problem was that my voice, when I'm not fighting them, was mirroring the things they're saying. And at this moment, I'm performing and I have to change all my poems, gender review. If I wrote to a woman, I have to perform it to a man. Because there's also, I am 22 or something, people. I have a boy at home, yeah, a son. And I don't know why I didn't, yeah? Is where I'm at right now. Should have just, I'm gay to a whole audience and walked off. But I kept checking myself, hiding myself. You know those things about you that you feel ashamed of, yeah? We need to remove them. So I decided I'll go find my truth or the voice that can hold my truth, yeah? Because even within my sexuality, I don't like to speak out of thought. it's important that I use my biggest machine as much as possible. So even if I am queer, what do I know about sexuality as a whole, yeah? And what I find out is a privilege that most heterosexual women will never get to interact with. The complexity of the ocean that is you in terms of hormones and organs, yeah? And I learned sexuality from a medical space first. Then I start working within activism, and I leave the stage and walk into Gay and Lesbian Coalition of Kenya. I'm like, I want a job. Like, for what? To pay school fees. I need to go back to school. They're like, no, we don't have a job. I'm like, okay, I'm your new volunteer. And I show up every day for 3 months. They're like, that weird thing, can she go home, yeah? And every day I show up, I clean my space, burn my sage, and just put my shells all over, because I'm also a very spiritual person. It's important that I create the space that I feel comfortable in. And my talk is all about let's share the things we can use, our tools together. And after 3 months, I had 4 jobs in the center. And oh, yeah. Oh my God, no one has climbed to me so long. But so one of the jobs was to edit a paper. It was like an online magazine called Freedom in Speech, and I have to write also as I edit. Finding stories was very problematic, and that's when I come to understand the power of language and gender and man versus woman, and the fact that even when you think it's not happening, it's happening. Yeah, the stories were very nature towards MSM men. MSM in men who have sex with men, whether they identify or gay as not, everyone within that bracket. And the main organizers and the writers and the creators of the magazine were fully that. And that became such a problematic space for me to occupy. As women, it's important we occupy where we can. But I was seated in a space of power without my feminism tools to teach me this is how you go around a system. Not go find out more about feminism. It really, damn, it has helped. Jump on that boat if you want to. And to negotiate that looked like a loss, whereby we needed to close the whole thing. At the end of it, I end up, there's a big problem within the queer community around men versus women. As odd as you would expect that. They thought that all funding goes to gay men issues, and since lesbian women, unlike heterosexual women and heterosexual men and gay men, we are considered at very low risk of HIV. That means 0 to none is projected to our reproductive health in any way. It's like we don't exist, yeah? And it's the same narrative that I felt socially, that whenever I walk within Nairobi, oh, it's just a lesbian. You know that thought? Yeah, first of all, it's a woman. What's the power of a woman? A woman with another woman should be the least problematic thing in society. That means when we decide to take the government to court for what we are calling Repeal 162, it's a law. Our penal code, who knows about the penal code? Yeah, you've heard of it. We have a constitution, we have a penal code, we have bylaws, and a million other ways for people to tell us what to do and who to be, yeah? A penal code is one. And this penal code was given to us by the white man, eh? When he was leaving, he was like, hey, you savages wouldn't know what to do with yourselves. Here, this is how you live, eh? This penal code had a section 162 to 165, the articles state, 162 specifically, that to have a natural, help me with this, is the reason it's hard to say, it's so much bullshit, you feel bad in your mouth saying it, yeah? So the law says that anybody having canon knowledge against the order of nature should be imprisoned for 7 years. That means any one of you who is having sex in any other way but missionary, as clarified by a judge in 2016 in a court of Kenya, if it's not that, if you're using objects, if you're having anal sex, if you're even inserting fingers and not what is supposed to be recreational, not recreational, procreation or sex. That's nonsense. Now, the idea was that's the law that they have used to target gay people for a very long time. And as stupid as it feels, it's what allows people to beat up a gay man in your streets and in your hood, yeah? It's the governmental, that bigger man says it's okay, these people don't exist. You might sit here thinking, am I a citizen, am I not? No, me, I know, yeah? So I took the call, not me. We are a group of queers, queer organizations and queer identifying people. And by queer, I am using it to bracket everybody else who is in the LGBTIQ spectrum, yeah? And this, we go, my friend called Eric files a case against the Attorney General, asking them to decriminalize same-sex conduct, word for word, in Kenya. That means just let gay people fuck without imprisoning them. Yeah? Just that. Nothing much, just that. And they say that it's important that there is people support. First, there's no gay people. So why are you telling us to change a law that does not affect anybody? So Eric comes like, hey, are there gay people? You're like, yeah, I think we are. And then he's like, sign here, because he needs faces to carry on the petition. He needs human beings. That's how law works. If it doesn't affect human beings, you have to show the weight of it. So I am one of the people who goes as the person of interest to tell your Attorney General, I need this out of the Constitution. And we had a court case, a hearing. We were supposed to get a verdict, a ruling, yeah. We were supposed to get a ruling on 23rd of Feb last month. It was moved to 24th of May. And it's important that you understand this conversation is not about queers. As I have said, it's about sex, and not just gay people, but all forms of sex that are not meant to give birth or to make a child and are not male-female penetration. Yeah? Is that clear? Yes. You sinners, you're hearing where you go. Okay. So, that is it. Now that I've done my duty to make sure you have current affairs, that's what we are doing as queer people. Come, we are fighting for your rights too. Let's do this. Let's go back to social change. I went to Nairobi Moi Girls School, Nairobi, CABS. The one that had a fire and the principal said it's because one was a lesbian. You remember that story after a woman was raped and, yeah? She told me the same. I'm a lesbian, get out. High school was hard, eh? It was difficult. I enjoyed high school a lot, but to understand that I don't belong in this society came in high school. And I love that while it could have had an opportunity to kill my spirit, what it did was make me want to stand up for everything else that I feel is not correct or just based on my eyes. And as subjective as justice is, my only goal in life is when I meet my goddess, when I die, I can't be told they killed something or destroyed something while I was quiet. Yeah, everything else is fine. That one is important. When we look at intersectionalities of what we are, which I feel is very important for this space, you hold a multitude of identities as a woman. That is very important for you to understand that each one of that is also a secret cape of armor and strength. For example, I am a woman, I am queer, I am black. Throw them. Any other observations allowed? Eh? What else do I look like? Poet. What else? Mother. Feminist sometimes. Problematic, enjoyably. What else? Eh? Okay. Tattooed. I forget. Yes. Oh, I'm inked. I'm marked. What else? I can't see. Pierced. It took years of sitting with myself, unpacking these things and looking at them as ugly as they looked at first, to see them in their beauty. I feel, well, it's important that structures are being set for women to make a change, especially in our country. Yes, all those things they're saying, run for office as much as you can, but how many can before we, not not empower, synonymous for empower? Another word for that. Before we awaken the might of the woman and the power she holds, to ask her to occupy a space whereby she has no money to support her, people who have internalized the demonization and erasing of women, because we need to watch out for that. By the time you're 30, you'll see exactly what I mean. Women are very willing to remove and reduce each other, and that has been the problem with the soldiers of patriarchy. We as women need to check ourselves deeply as much as we can, because patriarchy is a system that we embody too. So there are times you will sit here and not consider that I'm making somebody else less. And I know it's a lot of work to keep checking ourselves, but no one else will do it. Yeah? We have to check ourselves. When we're done checking ourselves, you go tell the other woman, you're beautiful for no reason, eh? Not in my lesbian kind of way. No, I'm not trying to make you people come to lesbianing. No, we are enough people. We don't need company. We need you to be able to hold each other with compassion, love. There's a feminist principle around sisterhood, and it lists all those things. And understanding, for example, media is I work for Afra Kenya. It's a collective for artists who use arts for advocacy. So you'll find us in all topics. Like we are invited. We are in every protest, we're in every conversation, except male-inclined thoughts. Everything around, we think they can fight for themselves. They're doing well. And let them continue. But if there's a child conversation on these extrajudicial killings, as long as it affects Kenyanness, we are within that conversation. What we do is everybody uses their tool to create work that we throw all over digitally. Then 2 years ago, we realized something. Our target base is everybody who knows. Because privilege makes us think here as women seated in Nairobi that just because we share this, that is gotten to the woman in the rural area or the slum who needs it more and has no access to things like a phone that can hold data itself, yeah? We need to also find a way to send our information back. And I have a suggestion. I love solutions, eh? My solution is, mnakumbuka chama? You remember how our mothers organized in the 90s and ended up taking us all to school and buying enough utensils for the next 3 generations? What was with those plates? There were so many plates, and those nini cups, the mabati cups. I have 3 in my house from my mother's chamas, yeah? I feel if we could create that kind of link and support system towards knowledge and information. For example, if I have a couple of queer people who I know live with disabilities. If they can be linked to this person, networking is the only way for us to access things. And also, let's not think within this space. It's not revolutionary if it's not radical and accessible to the poor. We are doing nothing before everybody else can understand what is going and what their power is. So, oh, I thought I'm up. Like, that's so mean. Yeah, so it's important that everything you hold, that person who you can access in a conversation, help them understand something you know. And in this global space we are consciously, information is power. So don't keep it for yourself. Find as much as within you can to appreciate and enjoy who you are. And also, just hug yourself more, please. Yeah, like hug yourself. Say good things to you. Like wake up like you're fucking beautiful. Me, I was a dark-skinned thing that looked like a boy growing up. I needed to work on my image, eh? They convinced me I was ugly for a moment. Look at me now. Yeah? Like, it's how we see these things. It's never what they say or what we hear. It's how we see it, yeah? So can we start by seeing ourselves as the goddesses we are, as the powerful, beautiful things we are? And when you find somebody being problematic, especially if it's a government space or a white person or a male person, please speak. Occupy space, be yourself, but be compassionate and never exhaust yourself. Thank you so much.